Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and current events from around the world. We're starting off with the story that's been making waves in international politics. The West African nation of Guinea-Bissau has experienced a military takeover, with President Umaro Sissoco Embalo being ousted from power. This is not the first time the country has seen a coup, and it's a reminder of the ongoing struggles for stability and democracy in the region. The situation in Guinea-Bissau is complex, with multiple factors at play. The military has cited concerns over corruption, economic mismanagement, and a lack of progress on key reforms. However, opposition groups have expressed skepticism about the military's motives, suggesting that the coup may be an attempt to consolidate power and undermine democratic institutions. As we explore this story further, it's essential to consider the broader context. Guinea-Bissau is not alone in experiencing political instability. Neighboring countries, such as Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, have also seen coups and military takeovers in recent years. This raises important questions about the role of the military in politics, the challenges of building democratic institutions, and the impact on local communities. We'll be examining these issues in more depth throughout the show, with expert analysis and insights from around the world. For now, let's take a closer look at the reaction from the international community. The United Nations, the African Union, and other regional organizations have condemned the coup, calling for a return to democratic rule and respect for human rights. As we continue to follow this story, we'll be keeping a close eye on developments on the ground and providing updates as more information becomes available. We'll also be exploring other major news stories from around the world, including the latest on climate change, economic trends, and social justice movements. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're continuing our discussion on current events, and today we're focusing on the escalating tensions between Venezuela and the United States. Recently, Venezuela has banned 6 international airlines from operating in the country, citing their suspension of flights as state terrorism promoted by the U.S. government. The affected airlines include Spain's Iberia, Portugal's TAP, Colombia's Avianca, Chile and Brazil's LATAM, Brazil's GOL, and Turkish Airlines. This move comes after the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration issued a warning to airlines about the potential hazards of flying over Venezuela due to heightened military activity. The Venezuelan government has accused these airlines of joining forces with the U.S. to disrupt the country's aviation industry. However, the airlines claimed they suspended flights due to concerns over safety and security. The Portuguese Foreign Affairs Minister, Paulo Rangel, has called Venezuela's decision totally disproportionate and stated that Portugal had tried to persuade Venezuelan authorities to reinstate operating rights. It's worth noting that this development is part of a larger context of increasing tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela. The U.S. has made significant military deployments to the Caribbean, citing concerns over Venezuela's role in supplying illegal drugs. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro has denied these accusations, claiming that the U.S. is seeking to oust him. As the situation continues to unfold, it's essential to consider multiple perspectives and avoid taking sides. The impact of this ban on the airlines and travelers will likely be significant, and we'll be keeping a close eye on developments. The international community is watching as this situation evolves, with some countries expressing concern over the potential consequences of escalated tensions. We'll continue to provide updates and analysis as more information becomes available. Welcome back to the show, folks. We're closing out today's Concrete Block with a look at the latest developments in UK immigration. The numbers are in, and net migration has seen a dramatic fall to its lowest level in half a decade, with a drop of more than 2/3 under the current government. According to the Office for National Statistics, this decline is largely due to a decrease in arrivals of non-EU nationals on work and study-dependent visas. Now, let's break it down. The Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, has announced reforms to the migration system, aiming to ensure that those who come to the UK contribute fairly. Meanwhile, the Shadow Home Secretary, Chris Philp, argues that while the fall in net migration is a step in the right direction, more needs to be done. It's worth noting that migration experts suggest these numbers may reflect measures introduced by the previous government, such as the increased salary threshold for certain visas. Peter Walsh, a senior researcher at the Migration Observatory at the University of Oxford, points out that it takes at least a year for policy changes to show up in the statistics. In related news, small boat arrivals have seen an increase of 53% compared to the previous year, with over 45,000 people arriving via this route in the 12 months to September 2025. The government has vowed to address this issue and is working to move migrants into military bases to ease pressure on local communities. As we wrap up this story, it's clear that immigration remains a complex and multifaceted issue with different perspectives and proposed solutions. We'll continue to follow developments and provide you with balanced and informative coverage. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.